Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. My name is Brianna, this is Coffee, Books, and Bullet Journals, and we're going to let Scattergories decide my June TBR. May's Scattergory game was a big hit. Not only did you guys really enjoy it and have a lot of fun watching, but I also really enjoyed doing it, and I read more books this month, or this past month, than I have any other month this year. Not that that's saying much, because I was in a slump and then quarantine hit, and so it just hasn't really been my year, but I read a ton this month. And I'm going to contribute it to Scattergories. We'll just go with that. So, also, I'm wearing my Strand shirt today because I should be in New York. And I'm not, because COVID sucks. So last month, I had 7 prompts, I don't know. I don't know what we're calling them. And they were these 6 books plus the Circus Rose, which was an ebook. I have read these 5. Yeah, I've read these 5. I've read the Circus Rose, and I am about 150 pages away from finishing The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. I'm on page 345. So very close to being done. I should have no problem whatsoever finishing it by the end of the month, which is Sunday. It's Friday as I'm filming. I should be fine. So I'm not going to do any like punishment rolls or anything like that. So I'm going to try to do 7 again. The scary thing is I have 4 books that I'm buddy reading. And another one that I really absolutely want on this TBR. The Feelgoodathon starts on June 1st. It goes for 2 weeks, so I'm trying to incorporate both my June TBR into my Feelgoodathon TBR rather than the other way around. So we'll just see how that works, because I don't know if that's going to. I may end up reading like 20 books this month. It's cool. I did change things up a little bit. Last month I had like that random number generator and then just a list, and it was ugly and I didn't like the way that it looked. So I put all of the prompts into just like on pieces of paper, and then I'm just gonna pick one out, and then that will be my random, if that makes sense. It looks more aesthetically pleasing, but I still have the dice. We're gonna roll it on the table and we'll just see how it goes. So I'm gonna go ahead and pick out my first prompt for the June TBR. And I'll go ahead and talk about the 4 books at the end. If they don't fit into any of these, then I'll just add them on. I've got a little over 100 prompts in here, I think. I didn't actually like physically count them all, but I changed up a few of them. Just like they're still similar, but it's just things that are a little bit more. I was finding that like I only would have 2 or 3 books that would work for a certain prompt, and then if that wasn't the letter, if the letter didn't work for it, then it just wasn't gonna happen. So here we go. I also added a couple, like there's a couple of repeats in here specifically for like LGBTQ because it's Pride Month and I want to read as much as I can of the gayness. Okay. Alright, so this is read a book in bed. So that means that I can pick any book provided it is the correct letter. I just have to read it at night when I'm in bed or in the morning before I get up, which doesn't ever happen, but at night before I go to bed. So that'll be like my bedtime book, I guess. So let's roll the dice and see which letter we get. All right, and we're rolling a dice. W. I am going to be smart about this and go ahead and pick one of the books that is one of my buddy reads, just to make sure that I get it in there. So I'm going to be reading Upright Women Wanted by Sarah Gailey. This is a futuristic Western book. It takes place in the 22nd century, but it's a very Western feel to it. It is also very queer. There are lesbian librarians. And I know very little about this book, but it's only about 100 pages, and I don't want to know a lot about it because it is so short. I kind of want to go into it blind, especially since it's not a well, first off, it's a mashup of genres that shouldn't go well together, but, maybe it does. And also it's so short that I don't want to get spoiled. So I haven't even read the book flap. I heard about this from Caleb from Books and Lala. She read this in one of her TBR challenges where like some random, like a publishing company or a review company, I don't know, picture TBR. So Kylie, Crystal, and I all talked about this and we all wanted to buddy read it, so we're going to be doing that during the Feelgoodathon. If you would like to participate, I think it's going to be the second week of June that we're going to be participating in this. So far, off to a good start. We'll see if we continue that trend. And yeah. I did go ahead and take out the prompt. I'll put it back in at the end, so that I can have it for July. But I don't want to have like two of the same prompt, except for the LGBT ones that I specifically put doubles in there. If those come up multiple times, great. I'm trying to just get one. It's not happening. Okay, here we go. Okay. I'm always nervous about this. A book involving sports. Okay, so I have some sports romances. Let's find out which letter it's going to be to see if we can figure this out. Okay, here we go. J. So I don't have a ton of. I don't have as many sports romances as I thought I did. I don't have anything physically, and so I'm looking through my Kindle. I don't have anything here. So I'm going to try one more time to do a different letter. And then if that doesn't work, then I will just pick another prompt. All right, let's try it again. M. M. I don't think I have any for M either. I really don't. I'm realizing that I don't have as many sports romances as I thought I did. Yeah, that's a bummer. I mean, I have a few, but not, I have Head Over Heels, I have Goalie Interference, but, none of that. And then I have the Good Luck Charm from, Helena Hunting, but nothing with those two letters. And I don't want to go in. I'm not gonna buy one. I'm not gonna go buy a book, or I'm not gonna go find one on. I want to read my own books. If that makes sense. So I'm just going to pick another prompt. It's okay, and that happens. That happens. That's one of the things with this book is that or with this game or these prompts. I don't know, because you're picking a specific letter. It might, may not happen. I could probably put in a new rule that if I don't find one, I have to pick a bonus one. I don't know. We'll see. Not this month because I have way too much way too many other things going on. But we'll hope that that's the only one. Maybe if there's a second one that I can't find anything for, then that I'll put in I have to read a different one. Okay, well, now we're getting, now this thing is being nice to me. And this is read a book in the morning. So that means that every morning, or not every morning, but I'm only going to be reading this book in the morning. So I'm going to try to get up early, try to read it. And let's pick a letter. Okay, let's try to pick a letter. B. Cool. All right, since Scattergories is going to be nice to me, I'm going to play smart, and I'm going to pick another one of my group books, and that is going to be Aurora Burning by Amy Kaufman and Jay Kristoff. I'm going to be buddy reading this as part of the Feelgoodathon with Jess and Megan. The Feelgoodathon is a readathon that I'm co-hosting that was created by Jess. I will link the announcement up in the cards above. It's not too late to join. It starts the 1st through the 14th. It's 2 weeks of super chill reading, and we wanted to buddy read this. I read Aurora Rising during May and really enjoyed it, so I'm excited to pick up the next segment of this. Amy and Jay definitely pulled some punches in this series. Unlike with Illuminae, they kind of that series is kind of known for like everything ending up working out great in the end. Things that maybe seemed terrible by the end of the book, you kind of knew they weren't going to. But in Aurora Rising, certain things happen that are not good, and I am hoping that they don't undo that in this one. That we stay there, like be serious. Pull some punches, and I'm excited to pick up the next segment. And I will be reading this listening to this on audiobook. So if it's going to be one that I listen to in the morning, it can be when I'm doing my makeup, getting ready for work, even technically driving to work because that's still morning. All right, let's go ahead and grab another prompt. I'm worried that we're being too kind. Yeah. I think that if I do pull another one, I think that's what I'll do, is if I pull a second one that I can't find a book for, that I'll still be able to like re-roll the dice. That won't count. But if I have to pull a second prompt, then I am going to pick a punishment book. Now I'm really nervous. Oh my gosh. An audiobook. Awesome. Okay. Cool. So that can be, now I'm going to pick the letter. I know for a fact it will not be the two that I have left from my group books, just because one doesn't have an audiobook because it's an indie published book, and then the second one is a reread and I want to annotate it. So I don't want to listen to it on audiobook. But let's roll the dice to see what we get. All right, let's do it. D. Okay, one of the prompts to read for the Feelgoodathon is to read one of the host favorite books. And I had 2 books from that list that we all kind of put down that were on another long-term project TBR that I want to read. And I had 2 of them, and one of them was Strange the Dreamer by Laini Taylor. So I'm going to go ahead and read this. I think I was going to read the other one. I was kind of leaning towards the other one, but I know I have an audiobook of this one, and I know that the audiobook is amazing, or at least that's what I've heard. Sorry, there's a really bad glare on this one. This is definitely one of BookTube's darlings. I know that the writing is very lyrical. This is about a boy or man, I don't know if he's a boy or a man, but he goes in search of the lost city of Weep. The city's not actually called Weep, but nobody actually remembers what the city is called, so they call it Weep. I don't know much about it, but it's definitely a book that so many people love on BookTube, and I'd like to see what the hype is about. Let's go ahead and pick another book. All right. It's being too nice. I don't know. Let's see what happens. I think I have 2 here. I only want 1. Alright. Oh, I still have 2. Okay. Alright. A retelling. Okay. And let's go ahead. I have a lot of those. So let's go ahead and pick a letter. Okay. Let's see what we've got. Okay, so retellings, I have a few of them, but I couldn't find one that had an F. The only thing I could find was We Hunt the Flame by Hafsa Fazal, which I think is like it's sort of a Mulan retelling, because it's like a girl having to dress up as a boy to protect her people. But I don't really think that beyond that it's a Mulan retelling, so I don't think I'm going to count this. I'm going to go ahead and re-roll the dice and see if I can find a different one. Oh boy. O is an interesting one, but I do have A Court of Thorns and Roses. There's an O of. Not like there's an O in Thorns, but there's an O in of. There we go. So this is a Beauty and the Beast retelling. This is definitely another one of those booktube darlings that you hear everyone talking about. And I was really excited to pick this one up after I read Crescent City, because that was my first Sarah J. Maas book, and then everyone was telling me to go ahead and read ACOTAR, so as one does, I bought the whole series. So I figured I should probably read them sooner rather than later. It is a fantasy heavy month so far. So that is 4 books. So we'll do 3 more, hopefully. Oh, this is so scary. Like, I love doing this because it's really interesting, and like you like pick random books that, like, when I go and look at my shelf, it's so hard. I'm just like, I don't know what to read. I don't know what I should do. So like this helps, but then at the same time, it's like, but do I actually want to read that one? We'll see. Okay, here we go. I have 2 again. Probably just using paper instead of like cardstock because they stick together. All right, a book in a place you want to visit. That would be literally anywhere right now. It could just be a coffee shop. It could take place in a coffee shop. Both of those could work. One's California, one's New York. We'll go with it. Let's see. Let's see if the dice is nice. I think that's the thing. The prompts are being nice. It's the dice that's not. Okay, come on. Come on. Tea. Cool. I keep having to move my tripod, and so like I end up getting a different setting or a different angle every single time. We're getting a really bad glare, but because I move my camera to do the dice, it's fine. It is what it is. All right, so tea. I am going to go ahead and use one of the group books, and that is Until the Last Star Fades by Jacqueline Middleton. This does take place in New York. I don't want to be anywhere else but New York right now because BookCon is this weekend, and BookCon would be this weekend, and COVID sucks. So I'm gonna go ahead and read Until the Last Star Fades by Jacqueline Middleton. Last year during BookCon, I actually got to have dinner with Jacqueline Middleton. She's an absolutely sweet human being, and we went to a little diner that actually like is a setting in this book. And then we just like walked around different parts of New York and took pictures of the book for her like Instagram and you know, being able to promote the book because she lives in Canada. So like every time she goes to New York, she goes and takes pictures. So we got to do that. So this is going to be like a really nostalgic reread. I'm actually rereading it with the author this month. I'm part of her Facebook like promotion group, and they do a book club every other month. And generally it's another book. It's not usually like her trying to like promote her own book. But with COVID happening and a lot of people not being able to buy books, we went ahead and decided to do Until the Last Star Fades, because that way, like, A, most people have the book already, and B, if they didn't have the book, she would be able to get them in e-copy. That way, more people could participate and not have to worry about like trying to buy a book, or since the libraries are closed, they can't get books from the library. This book is about Riley, who comes home from spring break in like Minnesota or something like that. She comes back to New York. She's a student at NYU. She meets this guy on the way home, and they become really, really good friends. She's actually currently in a relationship, but ends up breaking it off with him. That's not a spoiler. And her and Ben, it ends up becoming this very slow burn, friends to lovers. One of the things that I love about Jacqueline Middleton's books is that she does a really good job promoting mental health. So Riley does have depression and anxiety, and it really gets into the head of characters that have those mental illnesses, and I really, really enjoyed that. This book definitely made me cry last time I read it, and I'm excited to pick it up again. Also, the cover is just stunning. Like, it's beautiful. So far, so good. I've got 3 of the 4, and if I end up having to read one extra book, that's not on the prompt, that is okay. Okay, so that's 5, so we're going to do 2 more. That's terrifying. I'm telling you, I'm like having anxiety over here. Just 1? Okay, I think it's just 1. Okay, a book with 4 words in the title. Okay, this might be the one that breaks me because I don't know how many I have that are, P. I don't know how many books I even have that have 4 words. Alright, I have books with 4 words in the title. I have books that start with the letter P, or that have P as a word, but none that have 4 words in the title. So let's try again. Although you were probably like, as you were seeing it, I probably missed one and you just were screaming at me. L. Whew. I did find one. Whew. I am going to be reading the Book of Longings by Steampunk Kid. This is a historical fiction. I got it in my Book of the Month last month and was very, very intrigued by it. And it is a historical fiction fantasy. I don't really know. But it is a retelling of the life of Jesus told from the perspective of if he had a wife who was a feminist. Very, very excited to read this. It's very intrigued. Steampunk Kid, when I looked her up on Goodreads, it looked like she wrote more religious type Christian fiction, so I'm hoping that this doesn't do that. But when you try rewriting, literally rewriting the story of Jesus, you can't have it be very Christian fiction because you didn't the actual story of Jesus, he did not have a wife. So I am really, really intrigued. Also, with it being a Book of the Month, I don't think they would have picked that because they do definitely curate these books. If it would have been a Christian fiction, I don't think they would have picked that as one just because it would have alienated a lot of people. So we'll see. All right. Last prompt. Hopefully the last prompt. Come on, I'm finding one from the bottom. I'm so surprised that I have not had an LGBT one because I think there's at least 4 in here. And it doesn't look like I'm reading that much gay. Until the Last Star Fades does have a bisexual character. Alright, a book you know nothing about. That's easy, but it will not work for the reread that I'm going to be reading. Let's see. Alright, let's go ahead and pick it up. Or pick a letter. There we go. In. So for this prompt, the first thing that I went to was my thriller shelf because generally with thrillers, I know very little about it. So I just kind of picked one that had in it, and that is going to be No Exit by Taylor Adams. I do know that there are a lot of people that really, really loved this book. Kylie is definitely one of them that shouted this one from the rooftops, but I don't know anything about it. I'm pretty sure that there is they get stranded somewhere because of a snowstorm, and then for some reason I want to say that there was something about they see a child trapped in a car or something like that, and then the child is gone. I don't know. I feel like this is a good prompt for that and a good one to end on. Okay, and then the last book that I do want to talk about that I am going to be reading didn't fit a prompt, and that is going to be The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo by Taylor Jenkins Reid. This is the 3rd time I am rereading this book, and I am so excited to be reading it again. This is actually the June pick for the Literary Alliance. We have a Goodreads group that we have that I will link down in the description below. We're going to be reading it from June 1st to June 7th, so that's what these tabs are for. But I am going to be annotating and tabbing this book up because I haven't done that. So I read it physically the first time, then I read it in audio the second time, so the 3rd time I definitely want to read it and annotate it, or at least tab it. Very excited to get back to my beloved book. Apparently I just read this every single year. That's what I do. So let's talk about the Feelgoodathon, and let's read the prompts and see what I can use these books for. So that would mean which books I'm going to be reading earlier in the month. So the first one is a book that you have high hopes for. So that could be Strange the Dreamer, No Exit, or Aurora Burning. Any of those could count because I do definitely have high hopes for those. Maybe not like 5-star prediction hopes. Strange the Dreamer, I think, probably would be the top of that. A short book is going to be Upright Women Wanted. Finish or continue a series. So Aurora Burning, I think, is the only one that works for that because A Court of Thorns and Roses and Strange the Dreamer start a series, so they don't continue anything. The fourth one is a book with your favorite trope. Okay, I don't really know. That one I might end up having to add something to. Until the Last Star Fades has a friends to lovers, but that's not one of like my absolute favorite tropes. And I'm also thinking I'll probably end up reading that one after the Feelgoodathon, but we'll see. So that one might be one that I pick up another book for. Number 5 is a book that you picked up because you love the cover. The Book of Longings, I actually was intrigued by the cover. I think it's a really beautiful cover. If you like, it's not like a traditionally beautiful cover, but it's definitely like it shimmers a little bit, and it's just simple but beautiful. Strange the Dreamer also has a beautiful cover. Reading one of the host's favorite books, I already talked about that. That's going to be Strange the Dreamer. Buddy reading a book, so I'm group reading The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. I'm buddy reading Upright Women Wanted with Kylie and Crystal, and I'm buddy reading Aurora Burning with Jess and Megan. So any of those. Reread an old favorite is going to be The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. Read a book that younger you would have loved. This one I may end up trying to go back and picking up another book, or I could, like Aurora Burning could work because I loved watching Star Trek as a kid. And so even though like I didn't know that science fiction was even like a thing in books when I was a kid, I think that I would have liked the Aurora Rising trilogy. I don't even know what it is. The Aurora Cycle. That's what it is. I think I would have liked it as a kid, even though like not technically because it's a little bit older, but like had that been like a TV show, probably would have liked it. Okay, and then the last one is to read a book by an author that you've never read before. Upright Women Wanted. I don't think I've read anything by Sarah Gailey. I've never read anything by Laini Taylor. I don't think. No, I haven't. I haven't read anything from Sue Monk Kidd, and I haven't read anything from Taylor Adams. So any of those books could work. Other than maybe picking up 1 or 2 other books that I really like that I could add to it. We'll see. It's a 2-week readathon, so I don't know. But those are the books that I'll definitely be prioritizing. And we'll just go from there. So thank you all for watching. If you are new here and you have not yet subscribed, there is a little red button that you can do so down below the video, and all of the other links to my social media will be in the description below if you would like to be my friend on any other platform. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye. What makes this heart beat faster?